What up, world? If you don't know now, you know. It's your boy RC. Welcome to the first pro show with me, of course, your boy RC. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I figured I'd go for the late night crowd, see how that will work out. So, we're going to jump right into it. Topic: is it harder for men to get laid, or is it harder for women to get laid? Ongoing debate between a friend of mine and myself, and she happens to be a female who believes it is much harder for a woman to get laid. Where me as a man, I believe it is harder for a man to get laid. And since I'm the one that's here, we're going to go with my views on it, my opinions, and the bottom line is my show, so that's how we going to do things. So I'm going to start off with I believe it's harder for a man to get laid. So let's start as far back as the upbringing of a man. We are taught culturally as a group, and when I say that, I'm talking about males in general, black, white, Asian, whatever race you want to call it. We are taught usually quantity, where you hear, oh, you got a little girlfriend, or you got a couple of girlfriends, and it's a pat on the back from your dad or an older brother or your male peers. Whereas women are taught to value quality over quantity, where make sure you get a Prince Charming, make sure that you save yourself for the right one. So I believe that plays its part in men having a tougher task of getting laid. Now, this has nothing to do with finding a mate, finding a potential life partner. I'm just talking in general, man, woman, bring it together to make that sex thing happen. Now, it's my belief that if you were to take a social gathering of, let's say, 20 men, 20 women, one woman, I believe, could achieve a 90% success rate of going and to this social gathering and achieve, let's see, 90% would be 18 out of 20. If she were to walk up to 18 out of 20 of these guys in this social gathering, she could walk away with a definite confirmation for just casual sex. And that number is much lower for men, which I would believe would be probably a 20% success rate, which we're looking at 4 out of every 20. Or 4 out of the 20 in that party may say yes to him. For the simple fact, it goes back to what I stated earlier. It's a thing of quantity for men, quality for women. Guys brag about how many men how many men, whoa, how many women they've slept with versus when women try to keep that number of men that they've, how they say, given their flower to, and a low number so that they're not judged by their female peers, which is kind of funny. If a woman is had multiple sexual partners, she's looked at as loose or a floozy, a trollop, a hoe bag, if you will. And it's a thing of where women have it tougher as far as maintaining a social status, whereas society has really no problem with a man being a hoe or a dog. So where a man could go after a possible 50 women. And if he gets 10 of them, it's no problem. If he gets all 50, it's not a problem. Where a woman could go after, let's say, 50 dudes. And if she lays half of them, then she's considered a hoe, a slut, a thought, if you will. And I find that to be kind of funny. And even though that's the way our society is, I still believe that it's a tougher task on a scale of casual sex for a man to get laid, because it even goes to where men have to usually approach the woman. It's usually not the other way around, where it's something about, I guess, the chase or the approach of going after a woman and seeing, all right, can I get her? Something about her. And 9 times out of 10, when most guys approach a woman, he's not thinking just, oh, she's beautiful, I like to get to know her. He's already in his mind played, oh, look at her ass, look at them titties, oh, look at the mouth on her. Just thinking of all the different things that he would do to her physically before he thinks about, I wonder what she's like. I wonder what type of personality she has. I wonder if she has a sense of humor. They're not thinking about that. Whereas a woman, she might play all those scenarios. Type of person he is, she's already broken you down by your smile, your walk, what your sex appeal is about you. And I guess the difference between men and women is a man can say something and take himself right out of the running for the prize, if you will. Whereas a woman could say something and a dude might not be as turned on, but it's not going to deter him. So he has to not only come correct, got to watch what you say, you have to have a certain appearance, you have to maintain a certain status to approach certain women. Whereas a woman could be average looking and have the average body, and chances are if she walks up to a guy and says, hey, I like you, I want to sleep with you, chances are it's going to go down. That's a done deal. You don't even have to, there's no real fight about it. There's no, I don't know you that well. There is no, how would why would you approach me? Do I seem like that type of guy? Where if it's the other way around, where a woman is approached, where a man would just walk up and say, hey, I like you, let's go have some sex, she's probably going to slap him, and it might be an instant turnoff. And the funny part about it is, I would have to say, I guess this is kind of hard to argue this by myself because I don't have my friend here to argue her side of it. And on her behalf, I was trying to think, her arguing point for it would be, oh, he's not my type. I'm not that type of girl. And in my eyes, you've made it harder for yourself. We didn't say we were looking for a mate. You need somebody that's compatible. We were basing it down to just the nitty gritty, straight fact of, this is what you want, this is how you're gonna go after it, and it's just sex. We're not looking for a partner. We're not looking for that person to build a life with. That part that comes, I think that task is a little different because of the culture of how men and women are brought up differently. And I mean, as a people, should we start teaching our sons to look for a better quality woman in the beginning versus later on when he's ready to settle down? Versus has he taken the time to sow his oats, if you will? Like, that might eliminate a lot of the problems that men encounter in general. crazy baby mamas. This girl slashed your tires because she thought she was the only one. If you were looking for maybe that quality versus that quantity of just, saying whatever to, get the draws, then you might not encounter those problems. And that could be the difference. So is that something as a people, do we make the conscious decision to talk to our sons and teach them differently? How would it sound if a woman were to teach her daughter to go for, oh, get as many dicks in you as you can? No, you wouldn't. I don't see a woman teaching her daughter that. So it's funny that we teach our sons to slay as many women as you can, and then eventually, find one to settle down with. Let's start that way from the scratch. Um, that's just how I think about it. And it's also funny, like especially in today's society, I find it hard for any woman to say she finds it a more difficult task for her to get laid than a man. It's like only time I think that a woman should be having that problem is if she's having probably some serious BO, and then if that's the case, maybe she doesn't need to get laid. Maybe she needs to tighten that up first before she even starts thinking about wanting to give that cookie or that sour patch away, because that's just that's just kind of nasty there, and it makes you think sometimes. Some of the things that were brought up, the double standard in society, where it's okay for men to have numerous sexual partners versus it's frowned upon for women. Is is it fair to judge them so harshly? I mean, from the standpoint of a dude, I can't really judge a woman if she's had multiple partners in I don't know what a high number for a woman would be. So that would be something a little different than, I wouldn't even know how to approach that. Um, like hell, some of us can't even deal with our woman, the thought of your woman doing something with another man. I mean, how many of us could really deal with that mentally? We're not talking about actually it actually happens. Some of us can't deal with it on a mental level. I know a guy that said if he caught his girl cheating, it's done, it's over. But yet that same guy got caught by his woman cheating, and she took him back. So there's that double standard. I just find that amusing. It's one of those things today that's kind of funny. One of those excuses that you'll run into when, I guess, the courting process of women and men. A man could sleep with a woman on the first date, and that same dude would pass judgment on her because she slept with him on the first date and he might not call her anymore, versus a woman, if she's really feeling this guy, she feels a connection with him for whatever reason it may be, and decides to sleep with him. In her mind, she's already figured, all right, I'm doing this, I'm gonna see him again, unless it's a spoken rule among two adults. Okay, this is a hit it or quit it type thing. Don't expect, anything after it, or this is a one night stand. And it's not that women can't do it or don't do it. It's just that a woman has to do it at a greater level than a man, so that she's not judged. I mean, is it fair? No. Do I care? Not really, because I wouldn't want to be judged the same way. And then the funny part about women that would argue that it would be harder for a woman to get laid, chances are this chick has one maybe two male friends that she said, I wish I could meet a guy like you. Well, he is a guy like him, but what is the problem with him that he can't be that one you're looking for? You go to him and waste the time of telling him about how horrible your date was, and oh, you're such a good friend, you're like a brother to me, and all of that other bullshit. I think every guy at some point has been through that, and sometimes there's that guy that's truly a legitimate friend, and then there's that other guy that's hoping to catch the female on the rebound, swoop in, and catch her at that weak moment. It was like, oh, I see a weakness. I'm gonna go in. I see an opening. So it's funny. It's funny like that. This topic has been something that's been on my mind for quite some time, and I figure I'd take this opportunity to just touch on it a bit, not get too deep into it because like it's already takes me down several different avenues of what this could be, where this could go, where does it start, and like I said, it starts with upbringing. It starts with how we're taught to be young men and young women, and that makes the difference. Are we as parents now with young children or teenagers going to teach your teenager or your young child to value the quantity, or are you going to teach them to value the quality? Uh, Me, I didn't. I kind of got taught both lessons. I saw what can happen if you're not honest about who you are and what your intentions are, and the effect it could have on your partner and how they view you, how they see you, and if there are kids involved, how they view you. The view of a child, the view of a parent through a child's eyes is it's something different. And I told myself that my approach towards dating, or what they say, having game, I said I'd be different about it. I said I'd rather be 100, as they say. I'd rather tell the person my intentions up front. Am I interested in the relationship? No. Hell, we can even be friends. I don't necessarily have to get the draws for the simple fact of women outnumber men already. So you as a friend can't hurt. And then having somebody, gaining another friend on, and being a true friend, not just you saying you'll be their friend to try to possibly snake your way into the draws later on at some point. No, just keep, if that's not how you view me or that's not how you want to get down, cool. But at the same time, if your girlfriend interested in me and she's about that, don't block that guy. Don't block him and try to hold on to him if your girlfriend is about that life. If she wants to, you know, give up the draws because she feels as though she's secure with her femininity and knowing that, all right, I want to get this guy some, it ain't no big deal. She's not looking at it as the quality thing. Maybe she's going for the quantity. Maybe she's trying to get a few notches on her belt. Or maybe she's just approaching it from the aspect of, I'm an adult. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I really don't give two shits about what someone else thinks. That's that. I mean, I believe that's where a lot of it gets caught up, where people worry about what someone else is thinking. They're worrying about, oh, how am I going to be viewed by my peers? Are they going to frown upon me? Are they going to call me names? Are they going to treat me differently now that they know that maybe I've slept with X amount of people? In my eyes, it's none of their business. at best. If they're one of them, and then even still, do you have room to judge that person if you slept with them and try to pull a judgment card on them saying, "Oh, this makes you a slut or this makes you a whore," and things of that nature. Like, what if women were just as judgmental as men and made more decisions based off of, oh, you you did this or you did that, and could hurt a male's reputation the same way a man calling a female a hoe or a slut, how that could damage her reputation. What if women could damage a man's reputation that way? Would we as men be as judgmental of a woman that is secure in her sexuality and deciding that she might want to sleep with this guy for whatever reason may be? She might find him particularly attractive. Something about him really floats her boat. That would be something to see. That would be something to witness and behold. That would be kind of funny, like to have be in a setting where you find yourself you like this close to putting your bid in, and you see her girlfriend come in and whisper something to her, and then they start giggling, and then she tells you she might cut your date short, or, oh, I heard about you ain't nothing but a hoe, and this, that, and the third, on an aspect of how men do it to women. Excuse me. The funny part is, some men, if they hear that a chick is a hoe, that might even entice them even more to go after her because they look at that as an easy trophy. That'll be something easy to a conquest to behold. And it's like, if it's that easy, is it really worth having? Do you really want it? I probably wouldn't want it. I couldn't see me being happy that I got something that it was so easy to get. I take pride in what I did with who I did it with because they weren't as easy to get. They had some value beyond just the sex. I mean, I've had my dog days in there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like I'm the perfect dude. But when I can say is I never lied to get the yams. I mean, how many people can say that they've never lied to catch the eye of a female they were interested in, or lied to catch the eye of a guy they were interested in, or better yet, how many can say they didn't throw salt on someone else's name to attract the attention of the opposite sex? Which I still think that's another thing that's kind of fucked up to do. Throw dirt on someone else's name. But like I said, this is getting me off topic. Initially, this was supposed to be about which is harder for which sex is it harder to obtain the coitus, the 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 the, uh, the yams, if you will. This was just something I wanted to talk about and get off my chest and just put out there in the universe. If you agree with what I'm saying, leave me a comment. If you disagree with what I'm saying, leave me a comment. I'll address it. That's what I'm here for. This was to argue. It's like, you know how that thing, someone will say something controversial looking for an argument. I purposely did this post looking for an argument. I hope my friend sees this, and I hope they chime in. I hope several of her friends chime in. I hope that maybe there's a male out there that disagrees with me, that thinks it's easier for men to get laid than it is women. Which I still, like I said, it goes back to, it's easier for a chick to walk into a room full of men and she could go up to every dude And chances are, like I said, she's going to have like a 90% success rate. And that one guy might not say yes, and it might not be because he's not attracted to her. He might, those guys that say no might be in that percentile of I'm happy where I'm at. I appreciate the woman that I have. That they might be in that percentile. That might be the case when it comes to them. You know, it might not be a thing of, oh, they're not attracted to them. Or let's say it's a married woman. I had a rule of mine. I'm not going after no married woman. That's just one. I wouldn't want someone to go after my wife. And not to say that that's always the case, but I would at least hope that my wife respects our bond and wouldn't step out. So to see folks that have, like, I've heard women say, well, I'm trying to think, how did they put it? Men are dogs, and knowing he has a woman and he's still going to come after me. Well, a lot of the times you women know he has a wife, a girlfriend, a fiance, or whatever, and you still do it. So y'all make it like that stuff like that fuels my argument, where it's easier for a woman to get laid. Point blank. Period. Women, you are in the 90 percentile of success rate when it comes down to it. If a woman asks for sex, she's going to be able to get it. No hassle, no muss, no fuss. But this was a first run. I will be back. I will have other topics. I'll be better prepared technically because I got started nowhere near where or how I wanted to do this. But it's done. I think I've said my piece on it. Like I said, this will be up. Anybody want to chime in? Give me your opinion. I'm curious to hear what some of you have to say. Someone who has a rebuttal for my numbers, or maybe am I guessing too high? Is the percentage of success rate for women that I'm saying, is it too high? Is it too low? I'd like to hear from you. This is the Pro Show with your boy RC. I'll catch you later. I'm out.